Recorded live at 4ZZZ Studios Brisbane on 102.1 FM.
And broadcast across Australia on the Community Radio Network.
You're listening to Z Games.
With 10 years experience and over 500 episodes,
Z Games brings you the best in gaming news, reviews, community and culture.
Want to reach out? Message us on Facebook at ZEDGamesAU.
My name is Evie and I'm hanging out in studio with...
Rani!
Tobi!
Woo!
Woohoo! I got the squeaky chair.
You got the squeaky chair.
All the chairs are squeaky, but I feel like every week I get a particularly squeaky chair.
You do. You have the super squeaky chair. If you want.
Oh well.
I like to pretend that the squeaky chair is just the extendable arm of the microphone as well. Because sometimes there used to actually be a chair when I was on a different show at this station that the squeak wasn't so much as a squeak as it was a low squeak, so it actually sounded a bit like someone had some gas.
Oh no.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd just be having a serious conversation then. It's like, what was that? It's the chair, I swear it's the chair. Anyway, you're listening to Z Games, where we talk about video games and gaming related content. Oh, there's a lot of squeaking going on. We talk about lots of that stuff.
Somebody send us new chairs.
Yeah, donate your chairs to 4ZZZ, please, because new chairs or WD-40 would also be ideal.
That would work. Does it work on plastic?
Maybe.
Possibly.
I don't know.
I mean,
Let's find out.
WD-40 works on
Why is everybody
everything.
looking at me?
Toby, you would know. So we're going to talk about video games, gaming-related content. We play also gaming-related music. And today we're going to be talking about optimal gaming setups as part of the discussion this evening. Rani, Toby, and myself, Evie, we'll all be chatting about how we like our setups and maybe some tips and tricks for people who are looking to maybe upgrade or downgrade or whatever it is you want to do.
Comfort grade.
Comfort grade.
Yeah.
Optimal performance grade. I don't know.
Optimal aesthetics.
Visually, yeah, there's plenty to talk about. So stick around for that. And we're also going to be talking about the week in gaming news, which is, a standard Z Games thing where we talk about video gaming news. Yeah, and there's lots happening. The news has also an extra added feature this week as well, where Paul, I think, will be mentioning the latest gaming releases to come out over the next week. So, we're gonna start off with a bang.
A bang.
A bang. Actually, let's just jump straight into the week in gaming news.
Woo. This week in gaming news, new Resident Evil details. On the 21st of January, Capcom held a Resident Evil showcase, which detailed upcoming Resident Evil projects. Along with a new trailer for Resident Evil Village, aka Resident Evil 8, we had confirmation for a release date of May the 7th, and that the title would be appearing on last-gen consoles along with the PS5, Xbox Series S and X, and PC. PS5 players can download an exclusive demo for the new game titled The Maiden, which the company described as a visual demo, containing no combat. The short demo showcases the game's visual and audio design. A different, more substantial demo will be released later for all platforms. The event also revealed a new comic-styled multiplayer project titled Reverse that will be included with Resident Evil Village, a trailer for the upcoming Netflix movie Resident Evil Infinite Darkness, and details for the upcoming crossover event for Resident Evil and The Division 2, which will start on February 2nd. Microsoft doubles back on change to live pricing. Microsoft announced that the Xbox Live Gold service, required for online play on Xbox consoles, would be doubling its price. After strong backlash online, the company reversed its decision within a day and kept the existing price structure while also adding the option for people to play free-to-play games without needing a gold subscription. "We messed up today and you were right to let us know," wrote the Xbox Live Gold team on their blog. Blizzard expands internal development. Vicarious Visions, mostly known for high-quality ports and remakes, most recently Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2, has been absorbed by Blizzard. According to journalist Jason Schreier, Blizzard said today that it's absorbing Vicarious Visions. What it didn't say: Vicarious Visions has been working on a Diablo 2 remake, and Team 1, Blizzard's classic team, was quietly dismantled last fall. The integration ends Vicarious Visions' 31-year run in the industry. This week on the Z Games release calendar, on the 28th of January, we will see the release of Bloober Team's dual world horror with music by Silent Hill's Akira Yamaoka, The Medium, on PC, Xbox Series S and X, and Game Pass. Skeleton Crew Studios' pixel platformer featuring a magic harpoon, Oliya, on Xbox One, PS4, Switch and PC, and Inkle's language-solving narrative adventure Heaven's Vault getting a port to the Switch. On the 29th of January, we'll get Circum Arts' puzzle platformer in a world of street signs, The Pedestrian, for PS5 and PS4. That's all this week in gaming news.
Thank you, Paul, for the week in gaming news.
That's an interesting week.
Good to see that Microsoft were like, yeah, we retract the increase in price and gold service.
We won't be greedy.
Yeah.
Well, we will be greedy until somebody decides to turn around and say, well, no, we'll just go somewhere else.
Yeah. I mean, at least they did that. They could have just gone ahead.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I would have been like, unsubscribe.
Yes.
But I will admit, I do like the fact that they made free-to-plays. Because
Yeah.
I've always wanted that on the Switch. And that's just, like, one of those things that I really dislike.
It does kind of suck when you have to, like, pay to play online.
Mm-hmm. You're already paying for an internet fee.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I could pay for my internet,
like
why?
stupid amounts of dollars for skins. I mean, come on. You can at least give me the game for free.
Yep.
It's like League of Legends, you know, it's like this behemoth game. It's like the largest esports game in the world. And it's a free-to-play game, and it makes, you know, hundreds of millions of dollars. And that's because people just love the game so much, and they pay for the skins, and they pay for all that aesthetics. You know, your product sells itself, essentially.
Yep.
So, like, it's the same with Microsoft, you know. A lot of their stuff pays for itself. So it's like, why would you then charge so much? Like, when does that? I don't know. Sometimes large companies make decisions that you're like, how the hell did that happen? How did it get through so many layers of
The joys of
people?
upper management, man.
Yeah.
Upper management just getting greedy, I think.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
Oh, well.
Interesting about Blizzard absorbing Vicarious Visions.
Yeah.
Should be an interesting development. We'll see how that all turns out. That also wasn't Bethesda consumed by something.
Oh god, I don't know, but
I can't
do.
remember.
I will say that the fact that they're the ones that did the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 remakes, and I'm also a bit of a fan of the old school Warcraft 2. I wouldn't mind a good quality remake, and if they did it well. But the issue is that it was the Frozen Throne Warcraft 3 remake was just the same thing. But Paul's just messaged us, Microsoft bought Bethesda.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm pretty sure Microsoft bought Bethesda.
I had a feeling that's why I mentioned it, but I was like, I don't want to say something that's not
Yeah.
true.
But yeah, I just hope it's a good quality remake, but they don't charge you through the nose for basically the same game.
Yeah, that is always a problem, isn't it? And
Yeah.
games are getting more expensive. I mean, granted, they do a lot more now, I guess. Well, they look more realistic now. They take a lot more time, those sorts of things. But still, I don't want to have to like set aside this much of so much of every week's pay just to be able to buy one game, sort of thing. But that's why you should just buy
It's
indie
true.
games.
But also the which, if Paul was here, he would say Xbox Game Pass is really cheap on your on PC, so you could always just, you know,
Yeah,
pay for that.
see,
That's
I
quite a
was
good
paying
sub.
for Xbox Game Pass for a couple of months, and then it wouldn't actually work on my PC because my PC just wouldn't let me into the Xbox game thing. So I was like, okay, well, can I have my $30 back? They didn't give me my
money back.
They did not give me my money back.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, that happens.
Oh, well. But yeah, make sure your computer can actually access it before you pay for it.
That's true. That's part of, you know, having an optimal gaming setup.
It is part of
Yes.
having an optimal gaming setup.
Sorry, that's a bit
Maybe
of a segue
don't
there.
also have a bootleg version of Microsoft on your computer.
Whoa! Okay, we don't know nothing. Didn't hear anything.
No, I
Bootlegs.
think it's just not fully. I think it's just not fully activated
Who has
that
bootleg
might
Windows?
happen.
because
With
you
bootleg
can
things.
have Microsoft on your PC without having paid for a verification code, but you don't have access to all of its features. Yeah. So you can technically have the operating system, but if you haven't paid for the code or whatever, you can't use everything.
Shareware.
Yeah.
You've got shareware Windows.
I
have Windows that's come from like a previous computer onto
that's
I have a
that
Frankenstein.
It doesn't quite work because every time I try and call up the company, they go, "But you just did that 3 weeks ago. What are you talking about?"
You're like, I don't know what you're talking about.
It's okay. My new computer build has totally legitimate Windows.
Yay!
Legit Windows.
Legit Windows.
I hope everyone out there also has legit Windows. But also,
fun fact is you can get it for free if you are a student.
Yeah, there is
like
a lot of freebie good goods when you're a
Adobe
student.
Creative Cloud stuff is also. Oh no, look. We're going to be here for an hour listing off heaps of stuff if you're a student.
Go and talk to your IT. If you are a student, talk to your IT. You can get so many freebies.
Yeah.
So much.
And if you're not a student,
become one.
Good luck.
I don't know.
call a student.
Sign up.
Ask them to sign up for you.
Ask your work. Your work might have some sort of deal for you.
Especially if you got a government job, they might be able to hook you up.
Mm-hmm.
You're listening to Z Games. My name is Evie, and I'm in studio with Rani and Tobi. Boop, boop, boop. Making sounds.
Boop.
That's
Keep going.
the wrong shows.
You are now about to listen to some amazing content.
Is it?
Letting everyone know.
Woohoo.
We're going to be talking about optimal gaming setups.
Somebody lock my wallet away,
There's
please, right now.
There's like
Lock
5
my
people
wallet
like
and
next
phone
station.
away.
We're going to be talking about optimal gaming setups because, firstly, I have upgraded my PC recently and upgraded my whole setup, and it is like quite an ordeal
Yeah.
to find the sweet spot in terms of where you want. I don't know. For some people, gaming is sitting on a couch with a big screen, right?
Yeah.
And a controller. So there's optimal setups there too.
God, yeah.
Some people want like a recliner, a single chair. Other people want a couch. How you game is just as important as the game itself. Whereas I know Toby's got a standing desk now, so
standing sit,
optimizing.
Up, down.
Up, down.
Can press the button and go zzz.
I have a big old slab of wood.
Hey.
That's my desk.
That's what you need.
That's all you need?
It's
As long as it holds it up.
It could basically be a dining room table. So
20 monitors.
Oh God, please.
and I'm working on
Swordfish.
my next build because I've had my build for almost 6 years now.
New PC build,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Yeah, so that's exciting. I was going to build or upgrade the current build that I had, and then my mom just got like really impatient with me trying to make up my mind because she was helping me out. And she's like, just why don't you get one that's already made? Because it's all too complicated. And I was like, well, if you're prepared to, finance that, Mum, like if you're prepared to pitch in and help me out. She's like, anything to get you to stop talking about PC tech, I will happily pay more. I'm like, cool. So I got a TSM, one of the new flashy ones from Newmart.
And it's RGB.
It is RGB.
All of the RGB.
RGB.
Yeah,
Which is
aesthetics.
Totally not important to some people, but very important to me for some reason.
Well, one of the topics one of the parts of this optimal gaming setups that we were going to discuss was aesthetics versus performance. Toby, what's your sort of take on?
I run an IKEA desk with 3 screens to make sure that I can see everything, but it's covered in every I'm sure my wife is listening right now, just looking at my desk, going, "It's filthy." There's no aesthetics. I'll happily play with the RGBs, and then I'll ignore them.
Yeah.
It's not a huge thing for me. What's more important is that I can play with my friends, that my friends can hear me, that I can hear them, and
that you've got a crazy soundboard.
And I've got a crazy soundboard, so I can
yes.
so I can really, really, really play with their heads mid-game.
Yeah.
I mean, I have RGB, but it is like the last thing on my mind. The RGB is always a perk to me. It's like I need my rig to do what I need, so I need it to be able to handle streaming and games and keep up with all of that. The RGB is extra because it's pretty, and my life is all about aesthetics. No.
I'm all about what I look like. No, I'm kidding.
No,
It's the
not what
Instagram.
I look like. What my life looks like.
Right. Okay.
What my
Good
environment
save.
looks like.
Good save there.
But yeah, no, doing this new build, the new case that I'm gonna get is perfect for RGB, but the RGB like RAM or fans, they're the if I'm trying to cut costs, they're the things that are gonna go first because RGB costs more money. So
It does. It does indeed. I mean, also Paul messaged in saying to Toby, "Didn't you have an AstroTurf desk,
Yes, he
Toby?"
did.
I
Okay,
mean,
my AstroTurf desk is gone. It was there, and I did it one weekend, and I loved it, and then I hated it for a very long time. But I loved the aesthetic of it. Leave me alone.
yeah.
this is like so when we all play golf with your friends or whatever, Toby can feel like
I'm there.
there.
I think because my gaming setup. Okay, I live in an apartment. Okay, so it's all very open space. It's not like I have a house and I have my own room where I can just shove my whole gaming stuff into a room, right? I'm sort of in like a common area where, people come over for dinner and all this sort of stuff. So people will always see my desk, always see the living room where my PlayStation is and all that. So I'm all about minimalistic stuff. So I'm very much about aesthetics because it's actually more of like a mental state for me. Like it gives me a peace of mind that things are neat and tidy and organized, and it makes me feel calm. So RGB, I like RGB because it also creates like
Cohesion?
slim lines, right?
Yeah.
It's all about the slim lines, and that's like very satisfying to my brain. So I do quite like that.
I understand.
I'd
I
rather
understand.
spend the money on making sure the computer ran faster.
But if you didn't have to compromise, you could have both. Everyone
Yeah.
would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
I
think
mean,
that's where
like,
we're getting with technology now.
If you had an infinite amount of money to work with, like if I didn't have to stick to a budget with the new build, it would all be like beautiful RGB. I'd replace my monitors so that they match. Because my monitors are not matching in the slightest, and it bugs me to no end.
There's
If
like
it-
people out there who are like, oh my god, what a nerd.
I'm still running the
No,
same.
but it's like
I'm still running the same flat screen monitor I had 7 years ago.
well, I would
If
keep
it works, it works.
I would keep my main monitor because it's spectacular. But like the other one is like I think I picked it up on the side of the road.
What's actually question? What's your thoughts on curved monitors?
Oh, I haven't.
Because I
I've,
haven't used one.
I've seen them, and I've been in front of them.
I know
for,
what
like,
they are.
I've like been in front of one for like 2 minutes, but
sitting
I've
here.
never gotten to like sit and play on one.
See that? I
But
think
from
that's
what
it is.
what I've been told, you get used to it.
I think it's the diamond in the rough. It's that thing that you go for on the other end of the rainbow, the
Yeah.
curved monitor.
I don't know if I could deal with it. Like because I don't know if I could deal with the
I want
idea
one.
of it like curving towards me.
It changes your depth perception.
Yeah,
Because I've
I
used
don't
one
think I could
once
do
for
that.
a Formula One simulation game years ago now. Curved monitors have definitely excelled, probably more since then. But I remember because I also had the racing chair, and I had like the steering wheel and everything.
Yeah.
So it was a legit immersive experience in that sense.
No, you need that monitor that's coming out where you can bend it.
Oh yeah, the bendable one that
The
we
bendable.
mentioned. Yeah. Yeah, we'll get there eventually. Anyone got like 50K for that? But yeah, so the curve monitor that I remember when I was doing that Formula 1 simulation game, it was cool in the sense that your peripheral was engaged. Because like normally when you're playing just on a flat screen that's not curved, you don't have anything that's sort of operating in your peripheral vision in
Yeah.
terms of like stimulation from the game. Whereas with Formula 1, you had the visual effects on both the left and right of your peripheral vision of like things speeding past you really quickly. So it just sort of, I guess, elevated that immersive effect. But I don't know if it's not, maybe not for everyone. You'd have to test it, I suppose.
Wonder what it would be like with me and my hearing with a curved monitor, whether or not it would help or make it worse. Because maybe like if I were seeing things on my right side because I can't hear on it, I'm just like, wah. Like I just spend the whole time freaking out about what's on my right side.
Right.
But
okay.
I don't know because I haven't had a chance to try one. But
need
I
to
also
do that.
think if I were to get a curved monitor, I would have to get rid of my other monitors. It would have to be one
That would be a
massive.
complete
Yeah, no,
remote.
exactly.
No. 4 monitors. That's it. But
Monitor obsessed
For me-
Toby over here.
I really, I love my desk space. But for me also, like, we were all talking about computers. One of the, like, we're completely forgetting about the console players. The people
Yep.
who also want to be able to sit there with a blanket over me, with a one controller to sit there in a beanbag with a huge screen and just be really nice and calm and happy as well. And I think that's a huge aesthetic that I would also really love.
The big
Yeah.
old cozy gremlin gamer.
Oh, yeah.
Cozy Gremlin gamer. Oh, I love that.
That was like my whole aesthetic for a long time. And I talk about aesthetic, but I was like, that was my whole thing about gaming for a long time, was that I could just like be a gremlin. And I do play with a controller on my PC sometimes when I want to be a gremlin. So we just moved, and now my PC is in what is our functional lounge room. So my office is also our lounge room. It's basically a big old gaming music space. We actually plugged our PS5 into my partner's mum's big TV upstairs instead of our TV downstairs. So she has the bigger couch, and there's bean bags upstairs.
So everything's more lush,
and
and
the
you're like,
dogs and
yes.
yeah. So, we like to play the PlayStation upstairs, but I reckon if I really wanted the good old cave gremlin game experience, downstairs all the way, even though I'd be forfeiting or the big TV, like with the massive, beautiful graphics on it. And I go back down to my TV, which, can still do 4K, but it's not It's not that.
It's not the
cheap.
same room.
It's not,
But actually, you're making me think of something that Paul was talking about once, where it's like, oh, it's great to get the PlayStation 5 when everyone was rushing to get the PlayStation
Yep.
5, and now they're sold out and whatever. It's like, yes, PlayStation 5, better graphics, 4K, up to 8K or whatever, rah, 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 and everyone's raving about it. And then you plug it into your like only 1080
1080p,
monitor.
60,
Like it's like, wow, congratulations. Like, which comes down to that whole foresight of like going, right, I've got this thing that packs a punch, but if it doesn't have like the actual other
Peripherals.
equipment, the peripherals to sort of back up that hardware, then you're essentially
Sound
wasted money.
systems.
Everybody thinks about their monitor. I feel like lots of people think about their monitor last.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then if you fork out $1,000 or whatever for a really, really nice graphics card on your PC if you're building that, and then you get a subpar monitor that can do 1080 at the maximum, like what your graphics card is capable of so much more. If that's all you wanted from it, you could have gone for like a more affordable graphics card, unless you know that
Split
within
the
the
costs.
next sort of 6 months or 12 months you're going to be upgrading your monitor.
Yeah.
The new graphics card, it's got RGB on it.
Don't tell me that.
Oh no.
None of my graphics cards have ever had RGB because
Oh.
graphics cards are expensive. RGB is expensive.
Well, whatever it is that you want to do out there with your gaming setups and however you game, even if it's on your phone, however you set up and how you do it, I hope it's the best way for you. And if you're ever looking to, share pictures of your cool setup,
Tweet us.
I would love
tweet
to
message
see.
us on Facebook at ZEDGamesAU. We'd love to check them out. We'll be putting some posts up at some point of our
we'll
cool
share
setups. We'll
our
share some
setups.
stuff. So be sure to do that at ZEDGamesAU. Check that all out. You're listening to Zed Games, and my name is Evie. I'm hanging out in studio with Rani and Tobi, and I have a special review here from Tobi that he recorded earlier in the week. It's from one of his favorite games ever. It's called Factorio. So let's go straight on into listening to that.
Factorio in my house has a reputation, for my wife knows I will be lost for 2 days, rave of mathematical ratios and alien biters, and somehow gain the focus of a cramming uni student abusing caffeine and amphetamines. But what is this, my game of 2020 and drug of choice? Factorio was successfully crowdfunded in 2013 and released into early access on Steam in early 2016. I first played Factorio later that year after binge-watching YouTubers creating vast belted mega factories. Visually, it is a top-down 2.1 dimensional isometric game like RTS games circa 1999, while also having a dreary diesel punk aesthetic. Despite this, the world is rich with biomes, natural fauna, and easily identifiable resources to feed the factory. Gameplay-wise, it is a beast of real-time strategy, automation, resource management, and base defense. The basic premise of Factorio is that you have crash-landed on a planet and need to survive. This is really only present in the tutorial and when you set off your first rocket, the endgame trigger. The rest of the game is the diesel punk version of Man vs. Wild, while you set your mind to the machinations of the machine, engineering an extravaganza of a megabase while protecting yourself from the natural life forms affected by your pollution and hellbent on destroying your creations. To create your first factory, you mine, belt, chop, handcraft and build before progressing to automating with belts, inserters and trains. The final step, if you are brave enough, the birth of true automation with flying robots, wires and storage, all controlled through logistics and programming. Your factory is now vast and consuming, both in resources and time. You stare bleary-eyed at not only how long you've been staring at the screen, but also how many hours you have now accumulated in your Steam profile. Calculations and spreadsheets strewn across your desktop as you have calculated the exact ratios of ore to final products. This game captivates the engineer in me. The organisation to compact and replicate, modulise and expand, but I'll be honest, I play on peaceful. For without this, those biters, worms and spitters come in ever-increasing waves. They expand and search for weakness, and one day you look up from all your hard work and you hear an alarm, and they're chomping at your power station and everything goes dark. Speaking of sound, the atmospheric sounds are inconspicuous. I don't mean that in a bad way. Rather, everything sounds right for the situation. Footsteps on grass, sand, concrete and metal all sound right for the situation. The intervals between the music interludes are filled with the wind of the wilds. Or, if you're in your factory, the hum of machinery and belts, the crackle of arcing electrics, or the soft bells of sonar from the radar tower. The musical composition of Daniel Hames Taylor highlights the desolation and feeling of isolation while still remaining calming and optimistic. It is also memorable and repeated enough so that years after playing, reopening the game and listening to the game's music brings back the instant nostalgia of the hours of gameplay you previously invested. However, should the music grate on your psyche, as in most things in this game, there's a slider for that. Overall, while I'm sure you can tell I enjoy the game, there are some teething issues for new players. The controls and keyboard shortcuts are extensive, and while the tutorial shows a good selection of the basics, the huge selection of inbuilt shortcuts can be overwhelming to learn. There's also little after the tutorial to tell you what or how to do things. You are left to your own devices, a research tree, and your own brain to guide you. This tends to lead new players to restart their first map a few times before getting into their stride. And when you set up that map, everything has a slider, from the progression of the biters to how rich ore patches are, how many natural cliffs, waterfronts and trees you need to cut down, destroy or pave over to expand your ever-growing Factropolis. The developers Woob Software continue to actively develop the game while also developing new toys and squashing bugs. The modding community is also highly active and can add different gameplay loops and complexities to your engineering marvel. If this is wet your whistle for a play, you can find a demo available at Factorio.com, or you can buy it from that same website or from Steam.
Thank you, past Toby.
Hey! Future Toby.
Future Toby! Present Toby?
Past Toby, future Toby.
It's a present Toby.
Present.
Yes.
Like
Present
a
Toby.
gift Toby.
Ah.
The gift of Toby.
Yep.
Oh God.
Toby's presents
Move
is a
on.
gift.
Ah!
I have an English degree.
You're listening to Zed Games. You've tuned in at a really prime time. We're about to leave.
Yeah. Bye.
We're gonna head off soon.
But like my farts, they'll linger. The smell will linger.
Yeah, we'll linger.
Yeah. Just the memories.
Just like the squeaky chairs in the studio,
Oh,
you know?
God, yes.
They'll linger as well.
Yep.
The ghosts of the squeaky chairs.
Oh, God. Middle of the night, waking up.
I'm clearly too tired.
Yeah, that's definitely a sign that we should go then. We've been having a lovely time hanging out in the studio. It's been really fun talking about optimal gaming setups tonight, as well as, the week in gaming news as usual. If there's anything that you heard from tonight that you like, such as you want to find out more about the week in gaming news, you can head over to the Z Games Facebook page at ZEDGamesAU. You can also check out the 4ZZZ website. Our news is up there every week as well. In all forms, it is transcribed as well. It is there's audio and there's even some pictures because, we're real cool like that. Yeah, but that's pretty much everything from us. On that note, goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Z Games.
If you'd like to listen to more, check out our podcast on Spotify.
Or follow us on social media at ZEDGamesAU.
See you next time.